come from India. So in order to stay ahead, we have to train India in AI. And on the show today, we have been, in fact, not just today, through a series of conversations that we've done, we've been trying to find answers for a while. Now, what's happened? In a first, the National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology, in collaboration with the state education boards in Maharashtra, signed a landmark agreement that could transform how we teach emerging technologies like AI, like robotics, and the Internet of Things as well. Jobs are in focus, a concern as well when it comes to India, but the demand for skilled professionals, specifically in the world of AI, is going to be skyrocketing. Yet there is a huge gap, as we know, between what industries need and what the current education system actually offers. India produces thousands of tech graduates every year, but very, very few, as we know, with each passing year, are actually job ready. Leave apart being ready for an AI-driven world. So, what is this initiative that has started in Maharashtra? Will it spread across India? And how India plans to bridge this gap, continue to take a lead when it comes to tech? We'll explore some of those questions on the program today. But first, a quick ground check from the techies of the land.
Well, there is definitely a degree of excitement with respect to these new age technologies, as most young people working in the technology sector have, like myself. So yeah, I mean, while there is excitement that AI is going to make a lot of procedures more robust and faster, there is also a degree of pensiveness.
Modern technologies like Gen AI, IoT, robotics, and all the other Industry 4.0 tools, AR, VR, they're really exciting at this point of time, and I totally believe that these must be learned by each and everybody right now who is looking forward to the job market given the scenario that's out there. And I totally believe that while AI is definitely having an impact on the job market right now, it won't completely eat away human jobs. Human intervention will still be required. However, it will be taking the jobs of those who do not know how to use AI.
India's education system is definitely in a decent space, I feel, with respect to, better preparing its students for careers in these new age technologies. But because, I personally come from an engineering background, and I can say that in branches like computer science or electronics, there are AI-related courses in the curriculum itself in most colleges.
As far as India's education system is concerned, well, definitely, as of now, it's not really at par at what it is supposed to be when it comes to imparting knowledge in topics like AI.
Have an understanding where we have a process where every new technology, after a few years, we have a process to get those things into our college and school education system. So that way, like, even if today it is AI, tomorrow something new might come up. But our process should be well defined that we immediately get those things to our students and bring them up to the speed.
Now, where would I use AI to solve a problem? Well, I'm going to go personal on this one. I would definitely use it to make my own job easier.
Largely, it would be directed in the direction of education and skill development and training itself.
All right, so there's the question of skill, there's the question of usage, there's the question of educating India on AI. And to talk to us about all of this, we have a very special guest. Dr. Swati Narang joins us on the program. She's an IT professional and AI expert. She works on software reliability, emerging technologies, and upskilling young professionals. Good morning, Dr. Swati. Thanks so much for joining us on this very fascinating future-proof chat that we are having. My first question really is about this new MOU that has been signed and the understanding the government has. I want to understand that, if this were to go through, it would become one of the first colleges, universities in India to have a very future-proof course ready. Tell us a little bit more about this program.
Actually, these people, Maharashtra, they are trying to actually teach AI. Right now, we don't have any of the people, any of the universities which are teaching this anything about AI right now. We have like few of the applications of AI which are being taught there, but not exactly how deep learning is, how AI is built. Nothing about that is still there on the chart. So, if we really talk about what Maharashtra is doing, that's a great job. And yes, this has this. We expect other states of the country also doing the same thing. If we start with the basic thing, if we start with the basic teaching of AI, with the uh, if we start with the basic thing, in that case what will happen, the children will get acquainted with AI from the very beginning. If you see, CBSE also has AI in their curriculum. So what happens when CBSE opens it up, like when this curriculum is being taught to the kids, they are taught AI from the very beginning, like from the grade 6 onwards. So they are well acquainted with those things. And when they go to college, they are being taught about hardware, they are being taught about how programming is done, but not about AI till now. Now, because we are completely into a new generation and we want our children to be completely powered with the universities of the world. So this is the right time when people have to actually, rather the universities have to take this course. And deep learning is one of the courses which is not available much, very well available in our country. So yes, if this will come, then it will be a revolution in Indian education industry, specifically in the technical terms.
Yeah, but the follow up to that is, do we have enough teachers available to take it forward then? It is a very, very evolving space. We know that so far a lot of learning on AI, whatever happened, were done through institutes that the tech companies had actually set up. We know that there is sort of a learning center that Google runs. There is another one by Microsoft as well. A lot of it driven by Indians actually, but none of it is sort of percolated down to the university level. So how will we provide for this gap?
If I talk about the research level, yes, neurosciences are still being on our research level itself. We haven't seen it as a subject or as a like teaching. We don't have much good faculty available for this, because still this itself, see, what we are trying, AI is basically creating a replica of human brain. So if we talk about in medical sciences, still there are some of the parts where the doctors fail to understand why human brain behaved in that particular way. So if we exactly create a replica of that in a machine, so we need to understand each and everything of those neurosciences and then create. See, I'll tell you something. What happens, AI is basically of two types. One is strong AI and another one is weak AI. So if we talk about the strong AI first, what strong AI is, in which we are creating that machine, in which we are creating like God created human beings. Similarly, we are creating a similar human being itself using machines. So the signals which brain gives us, those neurosignals, are to be created by us only. Those algorithms have to be written by us only. So those algorithms basically are the most difficult ones, which are not very well done in any of the university till now. Yes, these things are under research. Still work is going on it. But if you talk about right now, yes, there's a lot of work has to be done on it. And in our country, till now, there is no such course which is actually teaching us how to create neurosciences, how to create a robot at like deep learning level. And if we talk about the VKI, VKI basically is the Cortana or ChatGPT or Alexa, because they are actually dedicated AIs. They are dedicated to one particular task. Like ChatGPT is basically working on only the language model. If we talk about, it's talking about the language, it's talking about how to remove the plagiarism. It'll not talk to you. It'll just give you some images or some data or facts which you want. And it'll if we call it AI, yes, why is it called AI? Because it is understanding through, it's learning through your behavior, what kind of things you research on, and it's learning through it. And that is called the machine learning level, which is at the lower level. Like I would say the level on which, suppose I, being a teacher, I'm teaching a child in a nursery class. So I have to show them the picture of an apple and tell them this is an apple. Similarly, the machine is being taught in the same way. If we talk about deep learning, in that case, we have to teach them how to breathe. That particular algorithm has to be learned. We are actually lagging behind in that particular strong AI. In weak AI, yes, the India is doing very well. India is making several applications. There are so many boards which India have created. Even the students in the schools also, they are very well versed with the weak AI. They are creating dedicated applications of AI.
Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
the basic deep learning is actually missing. So if we have to bring AI into our education system, first we need to train our teachers for AI. We need to train our teachers for deep learning. Then only we
True.
would be able to. Then we have
So
to
from what I'm
design the
taking away
courses.
from your conversation, Dr. Swati, is that there is one thing called building AI. There is another called sort of learning how to live with AI. And within building AI also there is a deep sort of AI, and then there is the other stuff. And you are saying at all three levels we've got to educate ourselves, which makes a lot of sense. But for somebody watching this right now, parents, students, kids, could you name some of the top colleges, some courses that one can look at if they want to pursue a career in AI, or perhaps stay on top of things?
See, there are several courses which are available, but again, the same thing. This is what I just put it. We don't have teachers for deep learning. So in our country, there are no much courses which are available for deep learning where we can actually create AI. If we talk about the dedicated AI, yes, we have several courses. If you see, there are several institutes and universities which are offering such courses. But if we talk about the strong
Name some
AI
for
thing,
us.
for the weak AIs, yes, you can go and even Amity University is providing many of the courses. Big data analysis is there, in which there are several courses with, and there are some incubators which are available in universities like. Subhat University is also there, which is actually giving one course on it, and you can find some courses in IIM Institute also. I have read about it. These are some of the institutes which we can find out. Yeah, but yes, if we really talk about the real creation of AI, we don't have any courses till now. That is still under research. Yeah, we the researchers of our country, they are working very well on it. Yes, we have several papers written on it. Our tech people are writing white papers on it. Yes, but still that is not under the course system yet. There's no a specific course which we can do for learning deep learning, actually, for creating an AI. If even in the whole world, if I talk about right now, the situation is that the people think that yes, they know AI. Why? Because they have created one particular application of AI. But if we really think, how many AIs do we have? Only one, I think. If you have heard about Sophia, that is the only one. Because one thing, it's very costly. Second thing, it needs a lot of work. And third thing, yes, the understanding is very less. In the later stage, if we think, when we would be learning deep learning, at that time we would be actually collaborating with the doctors and the medical team, and learn about how the human body works, similar way we would be
Yeah.
creating a
So you're saying there is a lot that needs to be done in this space. And if I were to sort of,
Yes.
simplify it for the viewers, it would be that there is a building of AI, and then there is sort of understanding AI and learning to live with it, keeping up with AI, as we like to call it on our program. And within building, there is a deep learning, and then there is one which requires you to build apps, etc., which you're saying is weak learning of sorts. So a lot needs to be done on this front, and we really hope that more and more, as we talk more about it, more avenues are created for people to actually upskill themselves on this one. Thank you, Dr. Swati, for joining us with the very latest. So, talking about AI, we've talked about how it's built or what the possibilities there really are, but the focus is also on what kind of problems does AI really solve today, right? Disability in India remains a critical issue with an estimated 200 million individuals affected, including 35 million students grappling with learning disabilities like dyslexia. There are a lot in that spectrum as well. Despite recognition under the Rights of Person with Disability Act in 2016, these conditions often go unnoticed and are studied in stigma, leading to poor education outcomes, increased dropout rates, and mental health challenges as well. Now, alarming statistics reveal that individuals with learning disabilities face a 46% higher risk of suicide attempts, underscoring the urgent need for effective resources and support system. And as we strive for a more inclusive society, innovative solutions are emerging to address these challenges. And yes, you guessed it right, it is coming from AI. One in particular that we have a focus on today is Ask Purple Flame, India's first multilingual AI-driven help desk designed specifically for learning disabilities. Now, how did this entire project come about? It came in collaboration with another generative AI platform. It's called Corover. And then Change Inc., a foundation working with dyslexics, came together to bridge this communication gap and empower more stakeholders, from students to parents to educators and policymakers, by providing accessible real-time information at their fingerprints. Now, Ask Purple Flame is a chatbot. It's available 24/7 in multiple languages, starting with English, Hindi, and allows users to integrate using text or voice. And today we have the founders on the program with us. We have with us on the program Nupur Jhunjhunwala, trustee and co-founder at Change Inc., and also Ankush Sabharwal. He's back with us on TBC to give us more sort of yarn on how this is going to go. He's the founder and CEO of Corover. Ankush, let me start with you first. When we spoke last, we did talk about how problems can be solved using AI. And in our first segment also, we were looking at how this space could actually be evolving more and more. You have a product at hand that does it for you. Just give us a sense of how this helps people with disability. What is the product? 30-second pitch if you had to make to a VC.
Yeah. So now we're done with the VC stuff for some time now. So anyways, thank you, Sonal, for having us here. And yes, you see how it's going to kind of help. So it's about the way I think the Changing is trying to train the trainers how to kind of educate dyslexic and other people with the other disabilities. So we are just trying to do the same effort in making an AI model work, right? So with Bharat GPT and Corover platform, we are creating AI trainer. So we have signed long-term strategic MOU. It's just a first step which we see as Purple Flame. It is just a virtual assistant which helps students to first get diagnosed and some methods to kind of cope up with that. So I think Nupur can talk more about it, but this is just the first step. So we are trying to make self-help tool for people having disabilities, for their families, and even for the special trainers.
I see. Nupur, help us understand this. Then how will tech play a role here? Are you trying to educate more people on the subject? Are you helping out those who are already facing it? Tell me more.
I think it's all of the above. I'm a parent of a dyslexic child, and when I started this journey about 8 years ago, when my daughter was diagnosed, it was very lonely. What happened is, you get this diagnosis in a space where your child is going through emotional turmoil and is going through a time where school is a big fight. Like, you go to school, you're supposed to be happy, and suddenly this becomes a place of war, and you get bogged down by how do you help your child to sort of figure it out to empower them. They're only 8 at that point, if you're lucky. And then you sort of work through that, and you try and you start fighting battles on different grounds, right? How do I get a formal diagnosis? How do I get a disability certificate? How do I convince that teacher that my child is not lazy but actually trying to learn? How do I work with friends who will say, oh, this is not a problem child, but actually a nice kid whom they should play with? How do I work with parents who might be judging? It's a never-ending cycle of frustration. And we were very lucky that we came from a school which allowed inclusion and enabled it. So we got resources. But even then, the questions were multifold, and everybody who we spoke to didn't know what had to be done. I went to a hospital to get a diagnosis, and they're like, we don't do this, only to find out later they did. So there is a big informational gap and screening gap, right, to identify a learning disability and then actually support it. What happens with most apps is you empower the individual. I'll use it to skill them. I'll use it to give them information, get them jobs. Nobody sort of powers the system and helps each other talk to it. And that's what with Codeover we are trying to do with Purple Flame. It's at the core working for individuals with learning disabilities in India. It's the only resource that does it so comprehensively. But then it empowers all the teachers, all the students, all the educators, the administrators, healthcare professionals, parents, all of them to come together. And I think that's a big gap, because in urban cities, you may still get support, right? How do you go to rural India? Like, we started our work in a place called Jamui, Bihar. And वहाँ पर teachers ने कभी सुना ही नहीं था. They never knew about this. But when you explain it to them, they realize that these kids exist. They're just not able to understand the disability. So with that mission, we sort of started the concept of a help desk. It evolved from chat, WhatsApp messages, individual sessions. We've trained over 1 lakh teachers at our organization. So from those questions that come in, we sort of created this and trained it with the support of Codeover and Ankush's team to make it a comprehensive tool.
Right.
A safe space to answer questions.
Yeah. Nupur, powerful message there. Yeah, very powerful message there, and a beautiful story as well. I'm calling it beautiful now. In hindsight, I'm sure it was tough when you got onto it, early on. But tell me, what exactly is the tech interface then? How does tech help with kids who are facing problems with reading, with spellings, which largely is what dyslexia is? It's not, there's no problem with the child. So let's just brush that aside for 1 minute and say that there is just a part of the brain that cannot register. The kids turn out to be absolutely normal. They go on to have brilliant lives if they are treated the right way.
Absolutely. Tech for children individuals with learning disability is like glasses for y'all. It helps them, empowers them to perform at the best level, right? So today there is so much accessible tech that we take for granted. My favorite example is spell check, right? Anybody, you, me, I don't remember an email I sent last without doing a spell check or a grammar check, right? That tool was developed by Microsoft to support people with learning disabilities. That was what it was created for, because these people have challenges with spellings. Now, ChatGPT or these AI-enabled NLP tools, right? These kids have a problem in organizing their thoughts and putting it in written language. Now I can tell an AI platform just the points that I want to put verbally, in oral without having somebody to dictate it and check spelling. It'll type it all out and it will sort of work. So tech becomes an integrated part of making life easier for them. Calculators, right? I go into a shop, I want to do transaction of money. I can do digital payment. That's the best. In case I don't have a digital account, a net banking account, I give money 500 rupees and I need change. I don't know how to calculate that. So I use a calculator on my phone and do okay and get it back. So that's how simple assistive tech can be. It doesn't need to be very complex. We all use it. But some use it for convenience, others use it because they're not able to do transactions. And I think that's the role of technology in helping individuals.
I think it's the most beautiful form of tech being integrated. It's the most beautiful form of how we want AI to be used in the context of not just India, but across the globe as well. So, Ankush, then the challenge before you is to ensure that the reach is wide, not just deep. You have to ensure that it goes to people who perhaps can be educated on it. I mean, you don't just need one Tare Zameen Par to tell people about dyslexia. You need so many more conversations happening. And so how do you ensure that this goes beyond just the tech groups and tech savvy urban India?
Yeah, I think, you're talking about this another effort which is trying to make people aware of it. See, I think that's the Change Inc. is already on ground. So they are enabling states and they are enabling other institutions to be aware of these learning disabilities and how to cope up with that. We from core over, we are just trying to understand this domain. Nupur and her team keeps informing us, teaching us. So we are tech guys, right? We have less information about this domain. So we are just now trying to make this platform better and better every day. And as I was saying, this is just the first step. We are also now trying to create domain-specific, learning disability-specific LLM with the knowledge, wisdom, and a lot of experience which team has. So from the tech side, we are making it more inclusive, making it conversational, voice-driven, multiple languages. And I'm sure if we build the right product, more and more would come to know and start using it.
I want to.
But Ankush, help me understand this. Since tech is also evolving, I'll just come to you, Nupur, in a bit. But since the tech is also evolving, and the whole thing about AI is that it learns, it adapts. If it can help with dyslexia, it sort of opens the door to so many more. Is that the focus as well? Is that what you at Bharat, GPT will also be focusing and putting your heads on? Because that could be revolutionary.
Yeah, so we have huge plan, I think. So I think Nupur can talk about it. So this is just the first step, right? When we spend even say 1 hour with Nupur, she knows everything. So what new tools we need to build, and she has the whole roadmap around it. So, and as Nupur was saying, it is not just about the innovation which we are doing, the products which we are creating. Yes, so now it is for kind of special people having learning disabilities, but the usage can spread across, even as she was saying. So the spell check was created for these kind of people, but others also use it for convenience. So even for learning disability, there's a lot of tools which are being planned, and all of these tools not just be limited by learning disabled people. It would be used by all.
Because I'm thinking about people who are blind, people who have problems in listening or speaking. I'm looking at a whole host of issues that can be solved with just this one problem. But Nupur, I'll give you the last word here.
So, CoreOver makes it very easy. The way the tool was developed, it was to work with a person in South Delhi and in interior Kohima in the Northeast, as well as somebody who is in rural Bihar. We've tested it and they've made the interface so easy that the way the person wants information, they get it. So if they want information on a rule, they will get it. If they want a training video, they get it. If they want a case study, they get it. If they want a strategy of a tip in a classroom, they get it. And that's what makes this tool so easy and accessible and scalable, right? Because now I can speak in English and type something and the chatbot will give me an answer. It will not judge me for my nomenclature. It will not judge me for my half knowledge of the product. It will not of the question I'm asking, and it will not judge me for not knowing. And that's what this tool does. It revolutionizes the technology to create safe spaces for people with disabilities, starting with learning disabilities. Their caregivers. Remember, 200 million are individual. Now they have caregivers. They have husbands, they have wives, they have children, they have parents. They're educators. We have 96 lakh educators in our country who need to be empowered. Today, we have only 28,000 special educators in our system. We need 70 lakhs. How are we going to get to those numbers, right? These are the tools that help us scale exponentially to support them and unlock their potential. Today, we are going through Dyslexia Awareness Month in October. So this sort of launch...
Nupur, I have last few minutes, but I want to ask you this as well. I want you to sort of shed light on what is your worry. Is there a worry at this point on this massive tech interface as well? Is that something that keeps you up at night that this might go wrong?
No, nothing. Everything in life can go wrong. But I believe in the glass half full. So it's really about learning. You may have some setback. You may get a wrong answer. You may get, it may be abused for something. But we learn and we quickly move. AI allows us to correct very quickly. Right? You learn. So I think it's just about how. And judgment on technology comes from human usage. It's not the tech. So we have to, as humans, be mindful of how we are using it and train ourselves better.
All right, we leave it there for the moment, Ankush. And, Junjunwala, thank you so much for joining us with this great insights. I believe this is the most beautiful marriage that we can have with technology, sort of ensuring that purpose-driven stuff actually comes out of AI. And if India can take the lead, nothing like it. On that note, we're going to slip into a break. Coming up on the other side, more power-packed conversations with those who make champions at home. Come right back for that.
Hyundai Super Delight.
Diplomatic tensions that are escalating. Now, as these diplomatic tensions continue to escalate, US State Department has now said that matter of Canada is serious and what we expect India is to cooperate with the Canada. So these are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground, and we're getting a reaction from the United States where it is expected out of India to cooperate with Canada on basis of these allegations. Now, remember, the diplomatic row between India and Canada has escalated following allegations from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that India may be involved in the assassination of a Canadian Sikh leader. Now, this accusation has led to mutual expulsion of diplomats and heightened tensions in both the countries as both the nations grapple with issues related to national security, human rights and the diaspora. So these are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground at this point of time. Now, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Akanksha. A very good morning, Akanksha. How can the United States actually justify its calls for cooperation when it has not directly addressed the serious implications of Canada's allegations against India also?
A very good morning to you, Kohina, and our viewers. And that is precisely also the point that India has been making, that, our requests for extradition, the kind of various gangsters over there, many of them also branded as terrorists. Apart from that, the anti-Hindu graffiti, the kind of defacing of Hindu temples that's taking place, the defacing of the idol of Mahatma Gandhi, all of these requests which have been made by the MEA for investigation by the Canadian authorities have in fact been left unheard. Now, what Matthew Miller, the spokesperson for the US State Department, has said is that they have made a very serious note of everything that's happening as far as the downgrading of the diplomatic ties between Ottawa and New Delhi is concerned. what is very surprising and misplaced is the comment that's come in that they wanted to see the government of India cooperate with Canada and its investigation, but India has chosen an alternate path. So the US State Department often makes remarks which are off the cuff. They are misplaced and lopsided even at the moment, because remember, the Ministry of External Affairs has been very vocal about how not even a shred of evidence has been provided with Canada, and that New Delhi is very much willing to cooperate, as it is already doing so in the investigation of the alleged Pannu murder plot, who is also a US citizen. Remember, this entire news of the downgrading of diplomatic ties arrived on a day when we've seen an inquiry committee from India traveling to the United States. In fact, an official has been arrested by India in this entire plot. So we all know that that action arrived soon after the U.S. State Department spokespersons met earlier during this year, as far as Mr. Jake Sullivan and the NSA, Indian NSA, Mr. Ajit Doval is concerned. And soon after, India has been taking up this entire inquiry. But having said that, that's not been the case with Canada. India has been very vocal that Canada ought to have followed up through diplomatic channels, something they in fact did by pressurizing the Indian High Commissioner and intensively engaging the High Commissioner over the last year. They choose to now target him, not even provide him adequate security, so much so that India has had to withdraw the High Commissioner along with other diplomats in Canada. That goes on to, in fact, indicate the kind of approach that Canada has taken. The RCMP in its press conference was very scant in the evidence. They were making accusations, but they had no solid, concrete evidence to back those claims up. Apart from that, we've also seen there's been a lot of there's a lot of chatter in the media, but there should have been proper diplomatic back channel talks, and secret information ought to be shared through bilateral channels and not publicly as Canada is doing. So I think it is Canada's approach which ought to be questioned, not India's.
Right, Akanksha, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. Well, US is clearly prioritizing the diplomatic relations over accountability. Let's hear out what the US State Department actually...
Welcome back. It's time to take you through stories from India and across the globe. And the first one is a rather sad one coming in for all the One Direction fans. Former One Direction singer Liam Payne was found dead outside a hotel in Buenos Aires around just a few hours back after the 31-year-old fell from the third-floor room balcony. The Argentina police said on Wednesday, this information just coming in a few hours ago. The Capitol Police said that they were called in to the hotel where they were notified of an aggressive man who could be in fact under the effect of drugs and alcohol. The hotel manager said that he heard a loud noise at the back of the hotel, and when the police arrived, they found that a man had fallen over the balcony in the room. That's the statement that has just come in. Emergency workers confirmed the death of the British singer who was reportedly found in the hotel's interior patio. Italy's parliament made it illegal on Wednesday for couples to go abroad to have a baby via surrogacy, a pet project of Prime Minister Meloni's party, which activists say is meant to target same-sex partners. Since taking office in 2022, Meloni has pursued a highly conservative social agenda looking to promote what she sees as traditional family values, making it progressively harder for the LGBTQ couples to become legal parents. A person of interest today is not just a champion in day-to-day life. She's not just a champion herself, but is one who takes care of one, is the force behind one as well. We are talking about Chiteshwar Pujara's wife, Pooja Prabhari Pujara. Now, we caught up with her a few days ago, and we asked her everything from her morning routine to favorite things that she does with the family, etc. Remember, this is a woman who let go of a massive career to ensure that she could nurture a champion at home. It takes a lot of guts and spine to do it. But I asked Pooja, what does it take to have breakfast like the champions and have one at home? Take a look. I don't know how to introduce women like this because a lot of times we go with Mrs. So-and-so, but I don't want to do that right now. With me is Pooja Pabari Pujara. She's so many things beyond just being the greatest support system and perhaps the builder of careers and builder of families. So Pooja, firstly, thanks so much for catching up with us.
Pleasure.
I want to first start by asking this. This is the Breakfast Club. We want to know everything about power-packed mornings. How do they happen? What is a champion's meal that you guys wake up to? Give me a glimpse of that.
Yeah, so breakfast is the happiest meal of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are all morning people. So we wake up and we're really looking forward. Even if my husband has an off day and he wants to, sleep in, and my daughter and me, we are like, let's go for let's go to breakfast. And I believe, while lunch dates and dinner dates are really popular, I believe breakfast should be, this thing. So yeah, breakfasts are usually very bubbly and cheerful around our household, and we try and stick to, basic. We're Gujarati, so we try and stick to a basic Gujarati staple when you're at home. Yeah. And
so breakfast must be happening at a lot of places. Sometimes home, sometimes hotel, sometimes all of it. One doesn't want to talk about those.
Yes.
But I want to talk about an ideal family breakfast date. Like how does that happen in the household?
Yeah, so that is when usually all of us are available at the same time together. So yeah, it involves a lot of conversations. It involves a lot of our child, doing funny things, and we encouraging her, and but yeah, and then just simple home cooked food. Yeah, nothing major, no fuss, and just lots of warmth. Yes, simple
joys of life.
Yeah.
But I have to ask this: you are somebody who comes from such a strong sort of career, and we did speak about earlier how it takes a lot to sort of let go of that and then support. So tell me, how did you guys even meet? Because this is sort of a corporate meeting a cricketer. Lives are as huge as a spectrum can get.
Yeah, so we were introduced by a like a maternal uncle. It is an arranged marriage per se, but we had like a couple of months, of courtship before we kind of decided. And it is very strange. I didn't even know who he was as a cricketer. I didn't know what cricket was, nothing. And from there, that journey from there to, actually loving the game and having the same passion sharing the same passion as he does, it is quite a journey.
He was famous even back then,
he was moderately famous, I would say. Yeah, but I didn't know he was, because I was like, cricket. I don't know.
Today, when you look back at that journey, and it must have taken such a huge shift, what are the key takeaways for women out there that you have?
See, one is definitely, the importance of discipline, good routine, and also adaptability, I believe, that is, people don't focus as much, women are really, really adaptable, and and just just the right amount of infrastructure in terms to grow is what women really need to kind of shine on. And and by infrastructure I just mean the warmth around the family and people who really matter to you.
That's right. Discipline is such a huge routine. We see all our cricketers, including your husband, doing the pumps in the gym and doing it all around. Does that run in the family? Are you outsmarting him? Are you looking quite fit yourself?
So till about we got married, I had never entered a gym. I didn't know what healthy food was. I was like, food is food. What do you mean by healthy? But these are the things that are actually important, and given social media is now so much gaga about it and everything, kind of gotten into a thing. But I realized the importance, and you realize it in your 30s. I think we got married when we were in our 20s. So back then I didn't care much about fitness, but in my 30s, I realized the importance of fitness and the importance of clean eating and importance of a good routine and importance of discipline. I was a night owl, and from that now I've become a morning person.
Wow.
So it's just that much change, nothing major.
So on that note, we have to say welcome to the Breakfast Club on that note, since you clearly have become a morning person.
Yes.
Thanks so much for chatting up with us.
Yes, pleasure.
All right, with that, a quick break. More cricket on the other side.
Diplomatic tensions that are escalating. Now, as these diplomatic tensions continue to escalate, US State Department has now said that matter of Canada is serious, and what we expect India is to cooperate with the Canada. So these are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground, and we're getting a reaction from the United States, where it is expected out of India to cooperate with Canada on basis of these allegations. Now, remember, the diplomatic row between India and Canada has escalated following allegations from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that India may be involved in the assassination of a Canadian Sikh leader. Now, this accusation has led to mutual expulsion of diplomats and heightened tensions in both the countries, as both the nations grapple with issues related to national security, human rights and the diaspora. So these are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground at this point of time. Now, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Akanksha. A very good morning, Akanksha. How can the United States actually justify its calls for cooperation when it has not directly addressed the serious implications of Canada's allegations against India also?
A very good morning to you, Kohina, and our viewers. And that is precisely also the point that India has been making, that, our requests for extradition, the kind of various gangsters over there, many of them also branded as terrorists. Apart from that, the anti-Hindu graffiti, the kind of defacing of Hindu temples that's taking place, the defacing of the idol of Mahatma Gandhi, all of these requests which have been made by the MEA for investigation by the Canadian authorities have in fact been left unheard. Now, what Matthew Miller, the spokesperson for the US State Department, has said is that they have made a very serious note of everything that's happening as far as the downgrading of the diplomatic ties between Ottawa and New Delhi is concerned. What is very surprising and misplaced is the comment that's come in that they wanted to see the government of India cooperate with Canada and its investigation, but India has chosen an alternate path. So the US State Department often makes remarks which are off the cuff. They are misplaced and lopsided even at the moment, because remember, the Ministry of External Affairs has been very vocal about how not even a shred of evidence has been provided with Canada, and that New Delhi is very much willing to cooperate, as it is already doing so in the investigation of the alleged Pannu murder plot, who is also a US citizen. Remember, this entire news of the downgrading of diplomatic ties arrived on a day when we've seen an inquiry committee from India traveling to the United States. In fact, an official has been arrested by India in this entire plot. So we all know that action arrived soon after the US State Department spokespersons met earlier during this year, as far as Mr. Jake Sullivan and the NSA, Indian NSA, Mr. Ajit Doval is concerned. And soon after, India has been taking up this entire inquiry. But having said that, that's not been the case with Canada. India has been very vocal that Canada ought to have followed up through diplomatic channels, something they in fact did by pressurizing the Indian High Commissioner and intensively engaging the High Commissioner over the last year. They choose to now target him, not even provide him adequate security, so much so that India has had to withdraw the High Commissioner along with other diplomats in Canada. That goes on to, in fact, indicate the kind of approach that Canada has taken. The RCMP in its press conference was very scant in the evidence. They were making accusations, but they had no solid, concrete evidence to back those claims up. Apart from that, we've also seen there's been a lot of there's a lot of chatter in the media, but there should have been proper diplomatic back channel talks, and secret information ought to be shared through bilateral channels and not publicly, as Canada is doing. So I think it is Canada's approach which ought to be questioned, not India's.
Welcome back. Now, after 4 long decades, the Kashmir Valley is once again hosting international cricket, with matches taking place in Srinagar's historic Bakshi Stadium. Legends of the game, both from India and abroad, have returned to play in the valley for the first time in nearly half a century as part of the first leg of the Legends League cricket. Ishan Vani with this detailed report.
Srinagar has become the epicenter of cricket fever as over 100 international cricket legends is sent for the much anticipated Legends League cricket. From the hard-hitting Chris Gayle to the finesse of Shikhar Dhawan and the experience of Harbhajan Singh and Suresh Raina, these cricket icons are bringing their star power to the heart of Kashmir, live for the very first time. 7 intense matches, including our grand finale, are being played in a packed stadium, where the excitement is as electrifying as the action on the field.
Srinagar's Bakshi Stadium has once again come to life. It's after almost 4 decades that international cricketers are back in action in Kashmir. This is the Bakshi Stadium where Legends League is being played, where international cricketers like Chris Gayle, Harbhajan Singh, Irfan Pathan, Yusuf Pathan, Suresh Raina, Shikhar Dhawan and other international players are playing. And this has lit the crowds. We have seen at this counter the tickets have been sold out. When Chris Gayle was playing, the entire stadium was full and crowd was exciting that it has led the administration think that they should be holding matches like IPL and other cricket tournaments here in Kashmir as well. A lot of fans want Virat Kohli and international cricketers to come to Kashmir and play cricket.
The energy is infectious, with Kashmiri youth filling the stands to witness their cricketing idols up and close.